just feel like for me, it's always been about a situation where, I've always just liked having things, and then just seeing it and just collecting, bro. I just like doing stuff like that. I'll read it, I'll play with it, and then I'll utilize it to the maximum. And then when I have no use, I'll usually just give it away or whatever the case may be. But yeah, man. All right, here we go. Here we go. I don't think you guys are hearing me, man. Look.
Yeah.
Nah. Hold on, let me start off, Drew. Hold on, bro. Hold your horses, dude. Hold your horses.
How's my audio? My fucking fan is on.
Nah,
It's good.
yeah, you're solid, bro. You're
All
solid.
right. Go ahead, man.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about in the world, and I feel like when it comes down to our Mexican American boxers, we give them way too much credit, too much of a platform. It's like we're looking for the biggest star that we can possibly have. And when it comes down to real Mexicans giving us amazing fights like Juan Manuel Marquez and Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, even guys like Emmanuel Navarrete, when we compare those fighters, right, to the Mexican American fighters, they really fail us, man. Right? Like in modern times, when we look at fighters like Virgil Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, Ryan Garcia, my guy Frankie Gomez, even
That's an
Jose
older fighter.
Benavides, David Benavides, when we look at all of these Mexican American fighters, they get paid much more than guys like Emmanuel Navarrete, and they do far less. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've always preached about this channel is a lot of these fighters do way less than the fighters in the past years. And obviously we know the paychecks and the money and over inflation and over time, the history of the sport makes these fighters like you no longer pay for resume and their track record, right? You pay top dollar for prospects for the opportunity of what they could be. And that's one of the biggest flaws in this day and age, especially in boxing and sports, is that we coddle these fighters. We coddle them, right? Like take no further than Ryan Garcia, right? It's always the perplexing topic. At least for me, it's very contentious as well. But I guess the way I want to phrase it is like this, man. What is our expectation of Ryan Garcia? Like I think we have this vision of putting these fighters or wanting these fighters to be much greater than they are. When in reality, it's like, have they failed us or are expectations a little too high, a little too demanding, right? Because not every single fighter could be an Oscar De La Hoya, right? He's probably the most, not probably, he is the best. He's the greatest Mexican American boxer, not just in California, but in the world, right? Gold medalist, 5-6-time divisional champion, unified, fought everybody, top tier promoter, amazing promotional company, has done so many things in terms of building the next stars, passing off the torch to Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, building up Canelo Alvarez. He is responsible basically for the last 20 to 30 years of excellence and building fighters. And people don't really give him enough credit. Or maybe they do, but they really don't praise him, right? They don't really respect him enough. I'm not saying people are, like Oscar has to be infallible. We're all human. We're all flawed. But guys like David Benavides, they get too much respect, right? For doing absolutely nothing. And when they are in the position to do something great, they really don't value it. This guy was 20 years old, 19 years old, and he became a WBC champion, right? And he beat Ronald Gabriel. He had to rematch him because the first fight was close and he got dropped. But that's an amazing feat, like being a world champion at the age of 20 years old, a young champion. That's unheard of. It's damn near impossible. Like it's not easy, right? Nevertheless, he lost that opportunity. Like imagine, let's say he's 25 years old now. And let's say he didn't do coke and he didn't party and he didn't fail all these drug tests and he didn't lose his belt on the scale. Let's say he dominated as the WBC champion for 5 years. From then to now, imagine what he could have become. Imagine what he would have been right now. Maybe unified, maybe undisputed. He damn sure probably would have had a Canelo Alvarez fight already. But we have to let the real Mexican, the tough Mexican, the Mexican that has actually done from time to time, and Canelo Alvarez fighting, being very active, being a consummate professional, yet we shit all over him. But yet we put David Benavidez on that level, right?
You're
Of
talking about Virgil, right?
alphaness. And it's asinine, and honestly, it's very unfair, and it's disgusting. This mentality that we praise multiple fighters. I don't just want for this particular topic, I just want to compare these two fighters, right? And really pinpoint Mexican American versus the Mexican, right? Like look at Ryan Garcia, right? He made so much money versus Tank Davis. That was a moment. We expect high and great things about him, but why? Has he shown us time and time and again that he's that guy to for us to admire and respect and have our children follow him? Oh, look, he's good looking. Man, that dude is the antithesis of a professional. And I'm not talking about because he smokes weed and he drinks. But what I'm saying is he's a walking contradiction. He's very hypocritical. On top of all these things, he's just not a professional. And at every given moment, he does not take accountability for his actions. And people just give him a pass. When I watched that press conference today, I was extremely disgusted. I was disgusted by his father. And like, no disrespect to all the fathers out there that have a trainer son relationship. And, I've always been a big fan of that relationships. But sometimes you just can't have them on the presser. This is Angel Garcia all over again with Danny Garcia when he was calling Keith Thurman and Bud Crawford nappy hair. Like, bro, what the fuck is with you guys, bro? Like, that doesn't make you sound tough. If you want to say the word and he's acting like you don't have to say nappy hair. Just go ahead and say what you say. If you got balls, Henry, to bring up a topic and have some underlining toning of a racial slur, whatever the case may be, and talk about genetics and all that shit, go ahead, bro. If you're about that life, talk about it, bro. But the reality, man, it was disgusting watching this press conference. A lot of ignorance, man. A lot of ignorance. It's really, I mean, you're gonna bash a person, do it with wit, do it with charisma. And Henry, bro, that dude's just gotta go, bro. Like, it was really disgusting to see that press conference, man. It was it was bullshit. That's really what it was, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, I couldn't watch it, bro. Like I was watching it, it was just cringe, bro. Like I was just looking at everyone's reaction. I mean, Devin is just trying to he's just trying to have a good dance partner, and it's kind of I think he is being serious at a certain point where like he's telling, Ryan like bro, like, I'm like you're pretty much gonna pull out of this fight, bro. Like you're wasting all everyone's fucking time, you know. I hope that's not the case, but I mean, fuck, bro. Like they're not being a good representative of boxing, really. Like they're catching other people's attention, because of the all these headlines that are happening or that they're putting out, and yeah, bro, it's like you can't really call it like a genius plan just because you're making yourself look bad, bro. Like you're just making yourself look bad. It's not genius. Like whatever this is that you're doing, whether or not you're trying to build a fight, it's just not making you look good, And I don't think that's the route you want to go to, Like this isn't how you act uh in the press conference, This isn't professional, you know. It's just I don't know if Ryan's doing, I'm not sure if you get flagged for doing if I say that word, the COKE word, but I'm not sure if he was on that. I read stuff on that. I was like, wow, I didn't get that from him. I got more like him being drunk and him just smoking too much weed, you know, and he's just not too much weed, but smoking weed because if you smoke it once and you haven't done it in months, like you're gonna get lit, bro. You're gonna get fucking lit, and that high is gonna go away probably the next day. You're still gonna feel groggy and all this shit. But I seen a lot of grogginess. I seen a lot of You know, that's what I seen. And I don't know how Coke really makes I just said, but Coke makes you gives you like messed up throat, but I think it's more of him smoking, you know, but I it was crazy how deep his voice sounded, or like how raspy it sounded, you know. It sounded really weird, you know, like like this isn't you, bro. Like some you have done something outside of the ring or outside of this, you know, prior to this, and it's making you, you know, sound different and look, you know, you're acting different, you know, like there's something up with you, you know, and it's really noticeable, and it's fucking, it's almost secondhand embarrassment, bro. Like, ah, man, I'm embarrassed for him, you know, like, bro, you're not supposed to be saying shit like that, especially the nappy hair thing. Like, he
I
really
mean,
got, I don't
you
know,
can
like, I don't
say
know how I feel
it,
about
but
that.
it's like,
I don't know how I
look,
feel about
man,
that.
like I understand what they're saying, bro, but that's like fucking 70, 80s lingo, bro. Like, for example, Spike Lee, an amazing director from New York, he has a movie about that. It's called She's Gotta Have It. An amazing fucking movie. And they talk about hair and basically this girl that's very promiscuous, right? Attractive, she's pretty, and she sleeps around a lot. And she's all about like not necessarily falling in love, but just she's promiscuous, you know? And they talk about things of that nature, but like I don't know, bro. I feel like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like
Yeah, for
I don't really know how to approach this because I don't really
yeah,
want I don't know what I can say on here.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
No, no. Let me touch on Henry.
I have to like limit the tongue in a sense, but I will
Yeah,
say
yeah,
this,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I was gonna say something on Henry, but go ahead.
And talk. What about Henry, bro?
Um, he's gullible. He's like one of those gullible parents that let Ryan do whatever he wanted as a kid. You know, like, or and do, you know, and get whatever he wanted as a kid. Like, yeah, he was working his ass off as an amateur and shit, but I mean, like like you're just gonna let your son say whatever he wants? Like, come on, bro. Like, you have, what's his name, Derek telling him what to say and to chill out. Like, you're supposed to be the one saying that. You're supposed to be the one outside of the ring and controlling all that. I mean, you're the father, you know. You're just there dressed up with nice shades and shit, not really checking your son, bro. Like,
Well,
I mean, he did in a sense, but it's like, come on, man.
the way the
Like, where
honestly,
were you? Where were you when he was smoking that joint, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, you know?
now I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. Smoking weed does not matter, bro. It really does not matter. Like, who gives a fuck if he smokes weed? Who gives a fuck if he's having sex during camp? That does not affect Terrence Bud Crawford. I'm not saying Bud Crawford smokes weed, but what I'm saying is these old school level of things, like it's not applicable anymore, bro. Like what I'm
Yeah.
saying is,
I'm talking about the press conference though.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. But see, even Ryan, he didn't really say anything bad.
He didn't. He
Devin
didn't.
Haney checked him,
Yeah.
right? Devin Haney checked him, and Devin told him, "Look, bro, like, well, he said last night." Like, I'm not even gonna show up to this press conference because Ryan isn't taking this serious. Basically, giving us the impression that Ryan's pulling out and doing everything to tarnish this fight, it being reputable, with the smoking of the joint stuff, looking like that album cover of XXX Tentacion of the white kid doing it with his nostrils, and all of these things. And it's just like going back to the word professionalism, wanting to be a consummate professional, on top of being a consummate pro, being at the highest standard. You see, I'm not saying Devin is the highest standard at all because, like, he just went back and forth with Richard Hitchinson or Richardson Hitchens, whatever his fucking name is, and they were talking, and he just called him like, "Shut up, you broke ass dude! Like, you a bum. You ain't making no money." And it's just like, bro, is that the standard that you're also setting, Devin?
Yeah.
Is it just all about money for you? And what I'm
Yeah.
saying is this: it's like they'll have their moments, but it's also like, do you have to be a professional at every single minute, every single second? If you're trying to be an influence to the generation and the youth, then you got to uphold your own standards as well. And that goes on Twitter as well. And this is what I was talking about Devin Haney when he stated that he was no longer going to negotiate with Ryan when he left to fight bigger and better things with Rolly Romero. You see, Devin is also not the highest standard as well because, like, bro, if you're a man of your word, then you got to honor it. And anyway, going back to Ryan Garcia, bro, it's like and his father. I didn't really think Ryan said anything ignorant. It's more so of what he does. Whereas his father, Ryan, like tried to take that mic away from Henry, right? From his father. And he was like, bro, like, shut up, dude. Like, it's the stupidest shit anyway. But anyway, man, I'm all over the place. There's a lot. I'm distracted, man. There's a lot going on.
There is. It's
I
too
really did
much.
a bad thing today, bro. I don't really want to put it out there, but I did a bad thing today. And it's kind of eating me up, but I'm gonna try to.
You did a bad. You did.
Yeah, dude. It's like, yeah, I don't
What
really
does it
want
have
to
to?
talk about it, bro. But yeah, it
Did
kind
you?
of sucks,
You
man.
are
What
you
I mean
injured?
by that, it's animal related, bro. And I didn't know if it was my decision to make.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, it was not the right thing to do. And
No one's hurt though, right? No one's hurt. Okay.
well, it's a question of ethics. It's a
Got
question of
you. Got you.
ethics.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it, bro.
All
So
right.
I have two puppies. They're about 6, 7 months old, right?
Mm.
You can either call them Benji or Snow or Simba and Snow, right? One's a brown boy, puppy, beautiful, and the other one's a white girl. And because they're in their heating moments, right? Like the boy's humping his sister. I decided to we made a decision, me and my girl, to go get her neutered, right? And so we got her back, and she's extremely sad. Like, we took her ability to procreate, her godlike ability to bring children into this world, just because an animal is gonna do what animal is. It doesn't matter if, like, that's why they call them perros, because they're will do again, I don't know what kind of words I can say on the YouTube, but
Yeah.
you know, and they'll do what their business, and I don't want their babies to come out a little fucked up in the head, man.
Bro, I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say some of your like a dog died or something, bro. Like my
Nah,
dog
nah.
hit
And I
her.
just feel like so we
My dog has less than a year, bro. Hit her?
yeah, like
Oh
less
shit.
than a year to
Nah,
two
nah. He
years.
has a couple years actually.
Yeah, I mean, these are puppies, 6 or 8 months, but I just feel really bad, bro. Like, I don't want to get like political and social on here and stuff like that, but
Yeah, it's all good.
I don't like, yeah, bro. It's just kind of eating me up, so I can't really fucking find the words because I've been seeing
That's
some
why we gotta go
pictures,
play
and I
pool,
just want
bro.
to go home, bro, and just hug my little dog. Like, she's fucking cool as fuck, and
That's
I'm
why we
not
gotta.
really a big old animal lover like that,
You're
but
not.
it's just the ethics and like,
I'm
yeah,
surprised
man.
you're. I'm
Where's
surprised you're
Speed, bro?
talking.
'Cause I need him to talk.
I'm
Fuck, dude.
I'm surprised you're talking like this, bro. I'm surprised you like the dog that much, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my
I'm
situation.
not the biggest. It's just like, again, it's a question of ethics. Yo, Speed, my check real quick, bro. I need you to really just you and Drew talk, bro. I can't really go on live today, man.
Yeah, can we talk about that though?
Yeah, I mean, fuck it, dude. Go ahead.
Man,
What's
that's
the issue?
that's the thing though, Drew. Like, and good even fall to one and all. A good even fall to you, homie Ricky. Thank you very much for inviting me on this live. You too, Drew. Thank you for exchanging ideas with me, and of course to our dedicated listener, El Pachuco. Saludos, carnal. True boxing fans are present here, and I agree. I cannot express the fondness and appreciation that I have for our few listeners. Again, we've stressed many times before that we're just doing this because we love the sport. We have fun doing this. We don't have much ambition really to make this into a profitable venture. If anything like that happens, well, then that just shows the appreciation that our listeners, like Mr. Vince Vargas, who just popped in, would show us by dedicated listening because they find value in this. But for the most part, if this grows naturally and organically, it'll be because there's some value in this. And if not, well, then we're just a bunch of people that you can just imagine sitting next to you at your barbecue or at the local bar and just having a good time. That's really what this is to me. like a place that I come over here to meet friends that I really don't know in person, right? But Drew, what homie Ricky is talking about, right, is that he's never been an animal lover. I don't think he's ever had any pets. Most recently, he started to get a couple of pets. He bought a couple of little birdies, and he bought these pups, right? And they're adorable. They're absolutely just the funniest, cutest little fur balls that you can imagine. And I myself am not an animal lover. The reason for that is because whenever the animal lover in my family, for the most part, which is my wife and also my son, whenever they've brought pets along, uh, they always, like most things, they have to die, right? And in those hard moments, it's me that they always have to do the hard work, right? And I've always talked about what a big old sentimental man I am. I like watching chick flicks, comedies, not romances or nothing like that. But long story short, it takes a toll on me to know that I turn my back on animals because my own personal pets is growing up as kids. They died, and it broke my heart. And I just didn't want that kind of burden on me. But of course, being the man of the home, I have to be the strong one. So I, pull through, and then I do the hard work, like bury him in the backyard or take him to be laid down. Now, homie Ricky most recently started to become a pet lover. And what I will say about homie Ricky is that he's a very responsible man. He takes and assumes his responsibilities and fulfills them not only to the best of his abilities, they really are the best of any abilities. And I do say that with respect for my younger brother, right? Um, but these two pups are siblings, and they're starting to get playful. And he ended up basically neutering or spaying or whatever you call it when you do something to the female animal in order to no longer procreate. And when I go visit my family, and I went to visit homie Ricky where he lives, and my parents were there, and I he looked sullen and downtrodden, and his lady were very serious, and they were having a discussion with my older folks, and I asked what's going on, and they said, oh well, this is what's going to happen. And I said, why don't you do it to the dude? Right? Because, I don't know much about animals, but I figured that if I had these beautiful animals, I would at least like to have the ability to reproduce them because they're classy animals. They're purebreds, and the girl is the one that could bring life into this world, not the man. Well, the man can, but he won't deliver them, right? So I thought naturally the best thing to do is to get the dog neutered. Um, but we know that if the dog, the little bitch, runs off or makes a hole in the backyard and crosses through somewhere, and another dog comes by and inseminates her, guess what? That little dog will bring on animals into this world that perhaps they're not prepared for taking care of them. Maybe mutts, if they, of course, don't procreate with the right species, or whatever you call it when it's a strain of animals, right? So I understand why they did it, but initially, being a sacrificial man myself, I would have said, "Whoa, why didn't you do it to the man?" Right? Because it just seemed like, as a sacrificial man, it's just logical to give up as a man for the family. Um, but then, of course, they talked about it, and I realized, oh, okay, it makes sense. The little girl should go. But homie Ricky, trying to hold his head up high, walking into the distance as he jumped into the car and took the little one out there, it looked it looked like a bothersome experience for both of them, and especially for the little bitch that obviously came back heartbroken, thinking that they abandoned her to strangers that would go over there and manipulate and destroy her viscera, her reproductive organs. This, I believe, encapsulates the kind of emotions and the trials and the hard experience that the homie Ricky just experienced with him and his lady and the little animals that he treats as children. So if anybody has any idea of what he may be going through right now, well, I would hope that you can sympathize and give him some words of encouragement. I do think he did the right thing. I am proud of my son, of my younger brother. I mean, but I could imagine how hard it was for this young couple to talk about making this tough decision for their union, and that's I think what homie Ricky is unable to express right now. Drew.
Yeah, man. I'm not too sure if Drew heard that, but yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's I mean, you know, maybe somebody can be like, man, Rick, stop being a pussy. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things that like it's good memories that we're building. You know what I mean? Obviously, and yeah, man, it's just kind of tough. So I just can't keep my head like I try to go live, but it's just ah. I would say this, man. Going back to boxing related talks, brother. Have you had a chance to there's a lot going on in terms of these implications with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia just an hour or two ago leaked some sparring footage that Devin partook versus Tank Davis. Have you had a chance to observe that?
Yeah, and look, I just saw it a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
And actually, in fact, you're the one who sent me the link. And of course, these are just rumors. For the most part, they've just been rumors out there, and the underground, the dark crannies and nukes of boxing. These rumors that Gervonta Tank Davis, having sparred Devin Haney years back, that he had laid hands on him, or like Tank Davis likes to say, he what's he say? He uses a word. I got him, or he says a word. I can't remember the word that he uses, but he basically says that he got him, right. And they've just always been rumors. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, homie Ricky, in today's presser, it was brought up, right? Devin Haney told, as to Ryan Garcia, Mayweather did not show you no video, almost as if trying to say there is no video like that. Why? Because it doesn't exist. And Ryan Garcia was like, "What are you talking about? Yes, he did. Who cares?" And Devin Haney wanted to keep pressing the issue. He did not show you that, and it comes to show, right, that these fighters really do look up and trust Mayweather, right? Devin Haney riding his bicycle in the middle of the night in Las Vegas once, about 3 years ago, he probably thought Mayweather was in his corner. Brian Garcia and Rolly Romero, when they hang out with Money Mayweather and they take his advice, they probably think that he's doing everything for their benefit, right? But it is now proven that that's not the case. Money Mayweather kept this secret film of this rumored sparring session between Davis and Haney, which nobody had revealed ever. And somehow, Ryan Garcia was the one to release it. He snuck it through someone else's account, but he's the very first person that posted just a stone screenshot of the of an image inside of that video, and today started to make the rounds, and we see Gervonta Tank Davis just bullying Devin Haney. Now, the only one that had the power to possess that and to conceal that footage, homie Ricky, was Mr. Floyd Mayweather. He betrayed Floyd Mayweather betrayed Haney. He benefited as the benefactor of Ryan Garcia, and now he just courted Ryan's favors. And you called it a low blow, and I said it was just desserts. Why just desserts? Because the Haneys have made this a personal thing. Instead of sticking to boxing, they've been calling Ryan and the family bad Mexicans, not Rasa, saying that he's a cokehead, insinuating that he's drunk, making it about the man instead of the fight that's upcoming, right? Now, in love and war, all is well, right? I get that. So why is it a low blow that Ryan Garcia proves that he is not a liar and he reveals that footage? I don't think it means anything because I think it's actually bragging backwards, right? Ryan Garcia is taking footage of the guy that knocked him out to make the guy who he's about to lose to look good. I think that's called bragging backwards. You take no credit for that. In fact, you're making the guy that ridiculed you look good. That don't make no kind of sense. I think it's foolish what both of these young fighters are doing. But in fact, I was going to tell you, I plan to protest and not pay for this pay per view. But now I might just fall for it because of the shenanigans, because it's getting too intriguing, and I don't know if I'm gonna want to miss this, homie Ricky.
Yeah, it's very you make a lot of great points actually. One is I don't know if I called it a backstab or a low blow. In fact, kind of I want to focus a little bit on what you said is you're making Tank, now you're putting Tank on this pedestal. You're making him great, and the way I look at it is like this. I've always been a firm believer that these fighters should sell or have like an OnlyFans or an Only Boxer account where they sell sparring footage, especially top tier footage like that. You see, because that's content, But on top of content, a lot of these times, a lot of these sparring sessions, they're amazing, and there's a lot to learn, and there is a market for not only to grow a fan base, but and we've talked about this in the past, not only to grow a fan base and to be that sparring warrior champion, but also it's access to a lot of things that I feel it's very pertinent in terms of building of a fight, building of a fighter, and sparring is happening at least 3 times a week. At some gyms, it's hey, fuck hitting the bags and conditioning, it's sparring Monday through Friday. It's not just Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. Sometimes it's happening all the time. So there's always work. And especially when you have a moment like Devin and Tank versus Sean Porter, Tank versus Shakur, bros, people will pay top dollar for that, right? To own the exclusive rights of that footage. And then the way you go about presenting it, you can make damn near documentaries of it. That's damn near what Netflix and Amazon Prime are doing. This is what boxing needs. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be leaked. The only downfall that I didn't like about that clip, that's too short. Man, give me the full context. I want to see the 30-minute, 20-minute, dog fighting rules. Don't just show me the highlights of Tank. I want to see the highlights of Devin as well, if there are any. I can't say because they say that they sparred twice. The first one, I'm not too sure in terms of the order of op, but one, Tank got the best out of him, where basically they almost stopped it. As you see, Adrian Broner tries to go in there and save and break up Devin, from getting really hurt as he turns his back a little bit. And then the other one, Devin won, and where Bill and Devin walked away with some money because it looked like Tank was out of shape. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he made Tank quit. It was just, hey, we don't know the context, but if somebody had access or they distributed these sparring moments, then we get a lot of clarity. That's the only flaw about that. But again, sure, it proves that Ryan isn't a liar. It proves that he has access to that certain footage that Bill Haney and they were putting into conversation. And like, bro, you don't own it. You don't have it. But I'm actually kind of happy that Ryan did that because it kind of clears up a little bit of the conversation between the back and forth of the press conference. And also it lets Floyd Mayweather know it's almost like they're beefing also with Floyd as well in terms of Ryan, because Ryan does respect Floyd Mayweather. He does listen to him almost to a fault, and more so than Oscar De La Hoya. And he realized, bro, you fucking played me for a fool. trying to get that Rolly Romero fan, me being the champion for WBA, and then me unifying with Devin. You didn't come through with your word. So why should I have to be loyal to you? I'm gonna leak this footage. I don't know, bro. So there's a lot of undertoning voices and
Yeah,
messages that are being displayed here in the last couple of 12 hours. Go ahead, Drew.
yeah, man. It's just for me. You don't mess up other people's money. That sparring footage had nothing to do with you. It's like kind of a low blow. Like, what's that got to do with their fight?
Absolutely.
So that was just a low blow. Like, morally, you don't do that. Like in the game of boxing, like they tell you that like you're not supposed to leak any footage if there's like an agreement, and obviously he got that from somebody because he wasn't there for that sparring day. So he got it from somebody, and that
Yeah,
somebody
Floyd.
is Floyd Mayweather. And you know why? It's because they're cool and all, but I got a strong feeling um that Floyd kind of stands on business, and he doesn't really fuck around like that, So I think it's more like him trusting Ryan with some footage, and then fucking he just broke that, trust in a sense, So I know Floyd wouldn't even play like that. He's actually never even released sparring footage too much, at least where he's getting like, fucking up his other opponents and making other people look bad and shit, like, but yeah, it's just a low blow, and that had nothing to do with him, man. That was just kind of him trying to get back at Devin, and because he didn't have nothing else to say about himself, like he didn't have nothing good to say about himself, and it's like,
And he
come on,
walked
man.
away on the face off. He just turned his back,
Exactly,
and Devin was still mean mugging him. Yeah,
exactly. He
no,
just didn't.
I agree. I look, it's a little bit of a cowardice act from
It
Ryan.
is.
Obviously, it knows that we know that he can't compete with Devin in terms of just a conversation or a battle of the words. But all that build and hype, Ryan just doesn't have it, man. Sure, he'll bring girls and they'll put a king throne to him. They'll throw roses and petals and you'll bring out fans, but bro, you got to make your people proud. And honestly, kind of like the whole thesis and the whole surrounding topic of this video is these guys are failing us, man. They're failing
Yeah,
us. And I've talked
and
about this in the past. Well, hold on. Let me try to cook a little bit, see if I get some steam.
yeah,
Ryan doesn't get any credit for leaking that footage. Like, bro, just because Tank is beating him, that doesn't mean you're gonna do that to Devin. You
Yeah.
can't do that to Devin because you don't possess that power, the IQ, the grit, the toughness of Tank. Okay, Tank, it looks like he's beating the shit out of Devin Haney, but you can't do that, Ryan. You can't. You showed the world when the world was watching 1.2 million pay-per-view buys allegedly. You didn't have no backbone, right? After 2 rounds, you were getting outboxed for the next 5, and you got dropped again with a body shot. Like you got pieced apart. You got your IQ wasn't there. These kids, Tank Davis and that camp outsmarted you before the fight ever happened with the rehydration and the and the catch weight. You failed in the negotiations. For somebody that's supposed to be powerful and almighty, and Jesus is supposed to have your back, bro, you failed your Lord and Savior. And also,
yeah,
nah,
yeah.
but
No, no, no.
hold on.
That's not a serious. That's not too far from the truth, homie Ricky.
Maybe. I mean, look, man. It's every single situation that look, man. Again, I don't know what I can get away with saying on here, but I'm gonna say this, man.
Look, don't say anything about homosexuals. Don't say anything that's sexist. Don't
No,
say
I'm
the
not
F
gonna say
word and all
that.
those things. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, it will be all right. All I'm gonna say is this: when it comes down to Ryan, Devin Haney is gonna beat you like Bud Crawford beat Amir Khan. If you're only thinking that you are superior because you have speed or you have a left hook, Devin Haney also has a left hook. He doesn't have a left hook that will knock you out, but he's faster than you. He has better timing. And when he has 10 things that are better than your one, which is just a left hook, when you don't have good footwork, you don't have good balance, good defense, good offense, trap setting, punch placement, punch technique, when you don't have all of that, he's gonna quit again. And Devin
Yeah,
is piece Ryan apart.
yeah.
Ryan has receded as a fighter, and he's not grown. Right? Mentally, this kid is not put together. He's going through a lot of things outside of the ring. And again, he's fumbling. Well, I'm gonna ask you guys this: is he fumbling the bag by smoking weed? By
No,
drinking? If this guy he knows his flaws, but just because you know your flaws, Ryan, you're supposed to try to correct your flaws.
you want me to
No
go
one
first?
here in this room is perfect. We're all flawed. But if I know that I shouldn't be doing certain acts and certain things, why do I continue to do so? Just because I go to church and pray and hope that the Lord will take these sins away from me, you continue to do them and then you double down on them.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
go,
look.
Drew.
Okay, look. For me, I always knew the standard. Like that's if like if I smoked like Ryan did and go and train the next day, bro, like I'd probably be professional, bro, thinking I can do it. Like, and at the end of the day, bro, look, you can't smoke weed. Like you just can't, bro. Like it's just he's really starting to change the game though, and starting to make people think that. That's the thing, and that's not healthy, bro. Just because I know how it feels like, and you get red like a tomato. When you spar, you get red like a tomato if you smoke a lot. And that's because you're not a lot of oxygen. I'm hearing my echo, but yeah, when you spar, bro, it's just you. It's a huge difference, bro, when you're smoking and when you're not smoking, and even in training, bro. So the thing is, the variable is that we don't know how much he's smoking, and and if it's a little bit, then he might just get away with it because like he said, there is a lot of athletes that actually do it, like as far as boxers. But trust me, they're not fucking up like Ryan is. They actually do their shit calculated, and they actually who knows? Maybe that's some of the reasons why they turn down fights and say, "Hey, I can't take that fast turnaround fight. I'm not clean." So who knows? Like, that's probably a reason why. But they're not fucking up like Ryan is. And I don't think it's always been embedded in me. Like my uncles, like they always tell me, like all the time, like yeah, but you smoke weed still. You smoke weed still. You smoke like
Hmm. Yep.
that's always what it's been. And
Because of
honestly,
the discipline.
yeah,
Yep.
Right? That's
yeah,
that's just what it is. But again, even though this is a different sport, look at Michael Phelps.
right. No, this is the thing though. It's weed. Weed, you need to actually with
No, what
weed,
I'm
it
saying is
messes
like,
it
did
messes
Michael
up.
Phelps turn red when he was smoking and taking and ripping shots off the bong and he lost his Wheaties deal? Bro, that dude ended up winning like 24 or 28 gold medals.
Right, but that's a little different. Like he's taking one breath at a time and he's exploding underwater. Like that's like sprinting. I can be explosive. I don't need to have great cardio. But he does have great cardio, but it's his whole body. It's different, bro. Like he's a full body board of athlete. He can do triathlons and shit, but he's anyways, what was I gonna say? You threw me off right there. Boxing, it requires you.
Why do I
Man,
hear
my
the echo? Yeah, I'm
yeah,
trying to
me too.
what the fuck?
Good. There we go. Oh, now I still hear it.
Yeah, it's gotta let me see. Hold on, let me see if I mute Drew speed. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
it's speed, yeah, it's speed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
What do you
speed.
mean?
you
What
got
do
an
you mean?
echo. You got an echo going on
Yeah, you
somewhere.
just
I'm not
missed.
too sure if it's your headphones or your
Yeah.
Let me.
your
Okay,
phone
look.
or
I'm gonna move this. Okay, because I'm just gonna remove this headpiece.
Pop back. Can you hear me?
Yep. Perfect. All right. So,
Okay. Let me do it again.
yeah. No.
No, let me
So,
try it.
yeah.
It again.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. With boxing, bro, like, weed affects what you need in boxing. And that's IQ. IQ takes you further than strength and any of this shit. You can be as strong as you want and still smoke weed, and you can be ripped as fuck and still smoke weed. But guess what? I'm not as intelligent. I'm not as fierce as when I'm actually off of it. You know? Like I'm pretty sure, bro, like you get nastier inside the ring too. Like you hit when you usually don't, or you swing when you usually don't swing, when you're off of it. And it's like it's more of an instant reaction that you have, and it's you know, like your physical is still the same. It's mostly your mental, and that's what boxing is. It's all mental, you know. So that's what it is. It affects you what you need to do. It's not like I'm swimming straight in the line and I'm not thinking. I'm just fucking exploding. I'm not thinking about nothing else but exploding. You know, with boxing. I need to think smart. I need to do I need to do so many things right. You know, so I think it's a little different. And even in football, bro, I mean, you're just exploding. You know your play. You just got to know the plays, and then you got to explode and keep your body right.
Yeah, yeah,
You
but
know.
okay. So hold on. Let me just clarify a couple of things. I don't know when Ryan is smoking, if it's during camp, outside of camp, during competition, in competition. There's a lot of variables, right? But the way I look at it is like this. The biggest thing here is the word discipline. Is Ryan disciplined enough to get the job done versus Devin Haney? Does he need weed to calm down his, I don't know, his inner demons and, his depression or his manic episodes that he has? Does this help him calm down? And the reality is this: we don't know. We don't
Right.
know how this is going to affect Ryan Garcia. Could we trust him? No, because Keyshawn Davis had a smoking of the weed incident as well, and they suspended him, right?
Mm-hmm.
90
And
days.
for many days, and
90, 90, and 90, and he got a no decision for his
and
win.
absolutely. And what ranking and sanctioning body was that?
She's
WBA.
It's probably the
no, no,
WBC.
no, no, no.
The WBC is the one that adheres to the VADA testing and all that.
Okay.
WBA, WBO, and the IBF, they don't require that. Okay,
Mm.
so what belt is on the line between Devin and Ryan? The WBC champ, right?
Mm.
So why isn't Mauricio Suleiman right now saying we got to drug test Ryan? Devin already brought that to the forelight, right? To the forefront. He said, "Hey, bro, you need to be doing the VADA testing." I don't know if Ryan ever responded to that. I don't know if the records display,
Yeah.
but shouldn't they disqualify
You know why?
this fight
Right.
because he's allegedly, smoking weed?
It's in
I
the
mean, I think
contract.
the joint will absolutely.
It's in the contract. It says
So
you can't do that.
we can't trust this dude to win this fight because he lacks discipline. That's the biggest thing. He lacks discipline.
Yeah.
I don't care if a fighter smokes weed. I don't care really if a fighter does coke, to be honest with you. But the question
Oh,
is
that's
this.
funny that you mentioned that.
I mean, the reality is this. I personally don't care, but for the sake as a fan that I'm paying top
Mhm,
dollar, and
mhm.
let's say if I'll get invested into this fight, I want to see a good fight. I want to see you at your best. I don't want to see the toxicology report where it says, "Oh, he was under the influence," and then I'm gonna be like, "Bro, is that why you fought so
Oh,
stupid?" So, for
one
example, a lot of people have this
Eloy Perez.
impression. Hold on. A lot of people have this impression that Errol Spence was drunk, going up into the ring versus Bud Crawford. And I'm saying,
What?
where in the hell does that, like, if that is true, let's just say if it was true, then Errol Spence failed us. Why does he get like they should strip him of his money and the fans, and he should give us, back basically a 50% return fee because he gave us a shit product. It's defective, it's damaged, it's
Yeah.
not near mint condition. You see what I'm saying? If that's the truth. So Ryan Garcia in this situation, he's paying fans or he's giving them money to buy tickets to go to the fight, which is charitable. It's like, damn, bro. I mean, that's nice. I
Yeah.
actually
So
like that a
so
lot.
so let me, before we hop on and you guys start to ramble about stuff, I should mention that the footage of that fight that you're watching right now is in fact
Hold on.
uh
You interrupted me to say that, bro. Come
yes, yes, yes.
I
Why?
know.
Come
Because I'm proud
on,
of that fight. I'm proud of
man.
that footage. The way that I edited that video, the angles that I got, everything, that was some good work from me. So yeah, in case anybody's asking who's the cameraman, I'm putting that off. So anyways, look. Look, I think we're deviating. I
Hold on.
think we're deviating
No,
from
no,
a
no,
couple
no,
of things,
no.
homie Ricky.
No. So what I'm saying is this: if Ryan Garcia is smoking weed, I don't really care. But
I do.
the WBC should get involved, drug test him right now, and be like, you know what, bro? You're not fit to compete.
Yep.
Competition, and this
Yep.
fight is off.
Yep.
Yep.
Before we even
Exactly.
get much closer, before these guys do a ring walk and all of these things, it just lets me know that Ryan is A, not disciplined enough.
You just
B,
said that.
yeah, well, I mean, that's the biggest thing. That I mean, that's all like everything that I'm gonna say after just encompasses in one word. That one word means every single denomination that I'm gonna branch off right now. It also lets me know your headspace. Why do you need to smoke weed, Ryan? Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to be caught on a picture doing so? Like
Why,
someone
homie Ricky? Let me answer that question for you, because you're asking a lot of rhetorical questions. You're not answering them though. This is why.
they bogarted
Because
the joint.
the Mexican American Chicano fighter is disappointing. See here, this is what I wanted to say, right? And I propose this live for you all. Why? Because we go hard on everybody, right? But I'm just gonna preface this by saying the following: I am a Chicano, right? I don't identify myself as just a Mexican American. I identify as a Chicano. A Chicano, in my opinion, is a person that upholds the traditions and cultural practices of two nations,
You're
two
a
distinct
Latino.
and unique. I'm not Latino. I am a Chicano,
You're
right?
Latino. He.
And I uphold the cultural practices and the the beliefs of two nations. Uh, you know, that of my forebears, Mexican people, my father and mother, who come from the land of the Aztec, sacrificial, hard-working individuals who came over here and succeeded and made themselves into people that live and work harder than native-born Americans. And this is why I always try and distinguish myself as a Chicano from the Mexican, because I have too much respect for the true Mexican. You see what I'm saying? I know that I was born with privileges that a Mexican born and raised in Mexico never had, right? This is why Mexicans, they immigrate to the United States of America for chances that they may not have gotten in the land of the Aztec, in the land of the sacrifice, in the land of the sun, in Quetzalcoatl, right? But when they come over here, they excel because they're used to suffering and they're used to overcoming the hardships. That's why the true Mexican, when it comes to the United States of America, thrives, right? But we, the Mexican blooded Americans, we are born with privileges that make us lax, lazy, and just passive in the way that we approach life, right? And some of us actually do take this arrogant stance about true Mexicans, because we not only distinguish ourselves as Americans, and we do take pride in that, but we sometimes look down on him as if working hard or toiling in the land and in the farms and doing the hard work that other Americans won't do, that those things are beneath us. But in reality, we don't exploit the opportunities, right? And it's proven every time and time again. Like these fighters that have been granted the opportunity to be successful solely because they are American, and the American fan base can be a dedicated fan base, but also because they have roots with Mexicans. So they have two opportunities to excel. And we've been proven with Andy Ruiz Jr., who had an opportunity to become, and he did, the first Mexican or Mexican American or Chicano heavyweight champion in history. And what does he do? He blows up in weight, lives like a king, buys himself a lot of wasteful items instead of investing in his future, and then he loses it the next fight over. And we have David Benavidez, a self-proclaimed Mexican who was actually born in the United States of America, right? He does speak the language. He does have a father that is Mexican, born and raised. But I assure you, he's never suffered as much as a true Mexican. And what happens? He takes the opportunity of these cultures, the Mexican and the Chicanos that idolize him and embrace him and want him to succeed. And what does he do? He spends his time sniffing cocaine, getting overweight, and then expecting that the little bit that he's done good should lead him to a payload of money against the cash cow in Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, El Canelo. Now we have Ryan Garcia, who not only is a son of Mexicans or Texans or New Mexican folk, because I think the mother is from New Mexico, but he also embraces the Mexican flag, and yet he identifies as a true American. He exploits that, and what does he do? He becomes a multimillionaire from the trust and the hopes that Mexican Americans, and Chicanos have placed in him, and he becomes lazy. He becomes a stoner of all things, a thing that he's never been before, right? He's never acted like this. And all of a sudden, you give him a little taste of success. And what happens? Where Canelo takes that success and says, I want more, I want more, I want more. These Mexican Americans, they get a little taste and they think they've made it. And then their drive and their passion, their efforts to succeed and thrive and grow and work harder, they just go by the wayside. And this is why I want to acknowledge the difference between a Chicano and a Mexican. The Mexican works much harder than us. But this is why people like myself that work hard to uphold two cultures, two nations, we have to match their energy by being proud individuals that can say we have traces and roots to those proud, hardworking, sacrificial people, but we also love the opportunities that are granted to us. We should take from the Mexican and their drive and apply it into our hearts. But a lot of the time, we just exploit that blood that was handed down to us by God and our parents. And we just fly the flag and say we are this, but we're not willing to represent. We're not willing to work hard to upkeep the pride and the work that it requires to make both of these nations and cultures proud. And I am quite disappointed in Ryan Garcia, who I was actually looking forward to paying for this fight because I wanted to show my Mexican American or Chicano, if he wants to identify as one, son, what happens when you keep your nose clean and you stay in the gym and you work hard, which is AKA Devin Haney, versus somebody that just exploits the looks and the God-given power and becomes lazy and relaxed like Ryan Garcia. But here's the thing, guys. How can I honestly tell that to my son when the guy who works the hardest, Devin Haney, is not making big money? And the guy who who flashes his abs and takes it easy and starts smoking weed makes 100 million for acting a fool. How can I tell my son, this is the formula for success, son? Follow the path of Devin Haney, a man who's his own black people don't embrace, who everybody calls him chinny, who everybody calls him a boring fighter. How can I tell my son, look up to him? The guy who's fighting the best fighters, my favorite fighter, Lomachenko, and keeping his noses clean, when in reality, if he wants to be a wealthy individual, he has to act like a jackass. He has to be a drug dealer. He has to flash his six-pack and say, that right there, son, is the future. That's how you become successful. This fight is so conflicting to me because I want to see it to display something to my son, but at the same time, I'm divided because I know it's so topsy-turvy. It's ridiculous.
That was beautifully said, man. I couldn't have followed it up with anything better. I understand now why Ryan Garcia's smoking weed, right? Because he's a phony, bro. He's not a real fighter. He doesn't adhere and he doesn't respect the privilege and the blood, sweat, and tears of our past amazing fighters, of the culture as well, and what it really takes. Look, in this sport, you maybe have 3 to 5 good years, maybe great years. Sometimes maybe 1 or 2 great years, and then the rest is pretty much filler, right? Because the sport is very tough.
Yeah. Yeah, you only get like 3 to 4 in your prime, up
Yeah,
until then,
and
because what it is,
maybe
it's
at best,
and
maybe.
and also like what it is, man, like it's mental fatigue, man. Like going in and into the gym every single day, it takes a lot of commitment, that takes a lot of fucking hard work too, bro, because every day you're just going in. I mean, if you're a year in, you're like already broke through the soreness phase. That shit will go away like in what, 2-3 months if you go every day. So but in those 2-3 months it takes a lot, man, and to keep going every day and push through the soreness. But I mean, yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, and you only
Yeah,
get
but you
20,
know
you only
what,
get
Drew? I don't
you only
want to
get
give them that escape because everything that we do is tough. What I mean by that is it's also mental. Every single day that we clock in, every single time that we go to
right,
work, every single time that we have to do whatever it is that we got to do to get the job done and provide our family, that's also tough too. It also feels like from a mental standpoint, you know, are we doing enough? Could I be
right,
doing more? Right?
right,
And it
right.
comes down to what Speed was saying, the privilege and the laziness that they don't take advantage of and respect
Mm-hmm.
enough, right?
Yep.
And honoring the culture, honoring your parents,
Mm-hmm.
no, honoring yourself and the standard of excellence that you need to uphold time and time and again. These
Right.
Mexican American fighters like Andy Ruiz, they failed us. Dude, you had an amazing run against Joshua in the first fight. And then what did you do? You did not train. You did not listen to Manny Robles. You failed him. You partied. You were associating with people and drinking and partying and being with people that essentially weren't there from the beginning because you got a
Right.
little bit of fame. And guess what? You're never to be heard of again. Did
Yeah,
he
and it's
maximize his moment? Is he living comfortably? Sure, he's living comfortably. He's got all the cars and he's got what the sport is supposed to give you when you feel like you're retired, right? But you aren't retired yet. That was your moment and you squandered it. You let that
hmm
shit just become a moment rather than a legacy,
right.
right? Same thing with Ryan Garcia. He was doing really well. But when Oscar laid you a blueprint that was going to build a resume, a career, your legacy by fighting all these southpaws, Luke Campbell, Javier Fortuna, Mercito Gesta, Camarón Cepeda, Jojo Diaz, you went straight to the glory in terms of the money and you failed fucking miserably. And then you didn't have the honor to take responsibility and letting people know, I apologize for I failed you guys, to my fans, to my family, and everything. No, you just ran away with 50 million. Guys like
hmm
Emmanuel Navarrete deserve that fucking paycheck.
hmm
They really do because they are fighting the fucking dogs. And you know
Yeah.
what? They're getting paid pennies on the dollar,
Yeah,
right?
and it's
Thinking with guys like Oscar Valdez, they are fighting Shakur. They are fighting Robson Conceição. They are taking Emmanuel Navarrete. And you know what? They didn't get paid 50 million. What gives Ryan Garcia the right for that paycheck just because he shows some fucking abs?
yeah, yeah.
You
Shit
know
isn't.
what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah,
ain't shit. Sure,
yeah.
I respect your hustle. Sure, you have a little YouTube channel. Sure, you got a little bit of clout, but you ain't got a legacy, bro. You ain't got
hmm
a legacy. Jake Paul hustles harder than you.
Yeah.
He's fighting the tough ass fights for a guy that don't have no experience in terms of the
hmm
boxing ring. You know what I mean? I talked about this before. A lot of fighters that I grew up with and sparred and now see professionally, they wouldn't be able to beat guys like Tyron Woodley. They don't possess that power to beat or knock out or sleep Tyron Woodley. They really don't. For
hmm
example, Ruben Villa could outbox Tyron Woodley possibly, but he ain't sleeping him. He ain't knocking
hmm
him out. I'll give Jake Paul that respect. Like that, bro. Like, salute to you. There's not a lot of people that can beat legends, whether it's in a completely different sport. Like that's not easy to do.
And
Now with a little bit of proper technique, tutelage, wisdom from these amazing professional trainers, or even if Amanda Serrano were to coach you, hey, you might be able to do
Um,
something.
little context on the Tyron Woodley. I think he got knocked out like 4 times in a row before that, so he was extremely chinny. Um,
Shit,
but
I didn't know that. I mean, I know that he was more of a grappler. He didn't wasn't like an amazing stand up fighter, but
yeah,
nevertheless, man, that's not an easy thing to do,
yeah,
right?
yeah. No, it's not
Because look,
easy.
Jake Paul couldn't sleep Nate Diaz, and Nate
Mm-mm.
Diaz looks like like
And well, I
you
got
don't look
one.
the part, bro. That's a motherfucker that smokes weed left and right. We're
Yeah,
talking about the topic like shit. It don't affect him.
he's sleepable. He's sleepable, bro. He possesses no power. He can box.
Who?
No, surprisingly, or
Who?
he no, but like right now he sucks. But I'm saying like
But
in his
who? Who are
prime,
you talking about?
Diaz, when
Oh, okay, got you, got
in
you.
his heyday, bro, he was a amateur boxer, and he was actually
Yeah,
like winning. He won his regional Golden Glove tournament, so he actually went to deep in it, but he didn't go to like no national type of thing. But
got you, got you.
he does have boxing experience, but but yeah, no, he just what it is just he's old and shit, like.
Yeah,
But anyways, going back to the whole Ryan thing, bro, um like, how many kids would love to be in this position and would actually do a much better job building themselves and not acting a fool like this? Like, bro, they forget that they are fighting for a living. They are not working. They're never going to work. They're in such a blessed position. I mean, money's gonna run out eventually, so they're gonna have to figure out what the fuck to do and where to put their money in to make them more money. But I mean, um, like I remember thinking like, damn, these guys, like my uncle fights for a living, and that's really like all he does. Like he gets to quit, or he did work, but he got to quit like for like a month or two, and he would just work on his craft for like 2 months. Is just seeing that, I'm like, dude, that's fun as fuck. Like people would like take pride in being professional fighters and knowing that, hey, I don't got to look for a job right now. I don't got to do what normal people got to do. Like my lifestyle is much different than the ordinary, and it's an opportunity to build your brand too. Like you're this boxer, right? You're supposed to do your end. You're supposed to build yourself now. Like it's more like like I said before, they're their own entities, so they got to build their brand. They don't look at it that way. They're like, build my brand for me, you know, like do it for me, So it's like it's an opportunity for you to build something after. So then when you're punch drunk, you have enough money to take like to get medical, and get all this shit because they don't have insurance. When they if by get for getting punched that much, like they don't have any of that. So um they gotta learn how to take advantage of what they got and kind of take these fights, man. Like this is an extra what like even if you're barely coming up as a professional fighter, like some of these guys have jobs and they're just looking at it as like extra money, and they're so blessed to get these extra $1,000 that that you've been getting and that you're not appreciative of. But Ryan got it easy right now, and dude's got it out here 10 times harder, bro, and that can actually hurt Ryan. So it's messed up. It's disrespectful to everyone else, and I think I think everyone's kind of pulling for him to like either change or just fucking get the fuck out of the game, man.
I think I think I think I'm close to wanting him out of the game. Right? I may I've talked about it, Drew, about how I'm trying to reconnect with the spiritual, reconnect with the supreme beings, right? And I'm a failed man. I've failed. I've succeeded. I've fallen and I've picked myself up. I understand the value of hope and redemption, and I want that for Ryan. But I cannot help but feel, I guess, mm, bitter or resentful, right?
Hmm.
That somebody that was born with the looks of Ryan Garcia right? That those type of looks that can open up doors, and the God-given talents that he was born with, the physical attributes to become an adept fighter, the speed that he's able to hone in with, that left hook, that jab, all of those talents. That all he does is just take those, for the most part, God-given talents. I won't say that it doesn't take practice. I won't say that it doesn't take routine and arduous labor to perfect that speed, that power. I won't say that. I won't say it's easy to uphold those looks, or to keep that, physique, that body that that women find attractive and that men envy, or that they aspire to look like, right? Because that's what they look in Ryan Garcia. That's how he amasses followers for the most part. It's hard to not feel resentful knowing that he has all of these opportunities and he could exploit them with a little bit of effort, right? And become a great fighter. And there's other people that don't have it like that. There's fighters, in fact, that because they won't have the looks, but they have the grit, they have the moxie, they have the dedication, they won't ever have the opportunities to lose once, because once they do, you'll never see them again. In fact, check this out. I was just thinking about. Do you know one of the local fighters by the name of Adrian Serrano? He's a very good talent here in of the Salinas Valley region. Not too sure if he is, in fact, from Salinas, California, but he is from around this region. He's a very talented fighter. In
Yeah,
fact, he was very
he's
good,
trained
right?
by yeah, he's trained by Bones Adams.
Okay, so Bones Adams, um, he his very first fight. I don't know if you know this, came out in top rank television. Now, I want you to analyze that, right? Devin Haney, undisputed fighter, he made his bones in the nation state of Mexico by fighting about 15 fights, maybe close to 20, with Mexicans. And they were never broadcast on TV, nothing of that part. He went down south, he fought some tough Mexicans, got good experience, and then he built this record that way. Some would call it padding. I just call it adding up to it, right? Summing up. Adrian Serrano, his very first fight took place an undercard for a top rank event. There was nary a person, not that many. You can count it with your hand. It was that early, but nonetheless, he got the opportunity to come out on television, and his first fight, if not mistaken, was a draw. Now, a draw is not a loss, Drew. A draw is not a loss. A draw should not be the end all be all of your career. But after that fight, he's only had another one, and it's been about a year or something that I haven't seen him. And you have to ask yourself, where did this young fighter go? He didn't suffer a loss. The next one was a win, if I'm not mistaken. And he did Drew, when he did draw with somebody, it wasn't like people remembered it because not a lot of people saw it. So why should somebody hold this fighter to such strict consequences, and yet somebody like Ryan Garcia has these opportunities to shine even after a defeating loss to Tank Davis, where he quits, and then he takes this fighter that's relatively unknown, that has a very good record, but nobody knows about, and he puts up this very awkward performance where he's being dominated for the most part, and then he gets that one punch, the puncher's chance, he knocks the guy out, and then he's gonna get another multi-million-dollar payday. Why? Not because of the deserving, not because of the merits, not because of the accomplishments, but because he has to sell the fight off the shenanigans. See, you guys asked the question. You guys asked, will this fight sell well? And I'll tell you something. I want to protest this fight. I don't want to pay for this fight, right? I want to save myself $80. I want people to tell me what I missed out on, because I don't want to sponsor mediocrity. I don't want these brown fighters to feel that they got my money just because we are an ardent and diehard fan base.
What if they all boycott it with you and no one's able to tell the story for you? I'm just playing, bro. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. You can tell me any other story. I'll listen to you. I'm okay with listening to you. I'm okay with giving other people chances. I'm okay with considering other opinions. If I miss out, I miss out, Drew. But I don't know how to feel, right? I do admit that all the crazy shenanigans, the racial thing, I want both of these guys to knock each other out. Did you see that one promotion for the upcoming fight next week between Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua? Have you seen that
Nah, I
promotion for the
haven't.
fight? Oh my goodness, it's epic. It's incredible. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get at is the promo ends when both Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou punch each other and they both get knocked out. I would love for that to be Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia doing that to each other.
What did
Why?
what did what did Dev? Okay, go ahead. Why?
Why? Because Devin Haney is making it so personal and he's making it racial. He's
What
accusing
do you say?
he's well, of course, Mr. Bill Haney said that that he made it about the Rasa, how Ryan is not Rasa, and he ended up saying that Bernard Hopkins was siding with the brown man instead of doing something for his own black people. Is what he insinuated.
But that's
Basically,
that's that's Bill, not Devin.
well, he's his barker. He's a spokesperson. That's like, did you ever watch WWE when we had Brock Lesnar? We had Paul Heyman. Heyman was the barker. You know, what's his name? Brock Lesnar never spoke a word. He just let the other guy do his talking. The reason
Mm,
he let the guy do his talking is because he agrees that
mm,
whatever's gonna come out of that man's voice, the man's words,
yeah.
do represent him well enough. Devin Haney could tell his father, like Teofimo Lopez said, Dad, shut up. Let me
Oh, okay.
talk. He
Yeah,
could
yeah,
do that,
yeah.
but he's not doing that. And Ryan Garcia and his father apparently are starting to make it racial.
Hmm.
This is a fight that's is supposed to sell, not because of the fact that Ryan Garcia deserves a shot at the undisputed fight, but because the Browns are going to side with the Browns, the blacks are going to side with the blacks. And you know what? The one thing that I've learned about this sport is that when you're taking punches for a living and they're coming from browns and blacks and whites and yellows and reds, it doesn't matter. You're going to hate them and love them all the same,
There, and
no matter what color.
but you heard Bernard though when Bill was talking, he was pretty much saying like, "Don't talk about the fight. Don't talk about me." You know? Did you hear about that? Did you hear that?
Yes, yeah. That's how we started it off.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was incredible because I was like, Bernard Hopkins is taking the high road. Yeah, that
Mm,
was incredible. He's like, let them sell the fight. Let these fighters who have that fight do it.
yeah.
But he was also taking shots at Bill Haney because he was saying, listen, these guys are the ones supposed to hype up the fight because they're gonna fight. But you're hyping up some things between me and you. But yet, Bill, you don't want to fight. I'll fight you.
Oh,
Think about it. That's the subtext in all of that. That's what he's trying to say. At these guys are supposed to talk because they have a fight going up. You and me cannot even talk about each other because guess what? You don't want to fight,
let's read the
right?
comments.
Yeah. Okay. Let's read a couple of these comments.
The one
So I think
Jose Garcia Texas that guy. We start from
okay.
there.
Okay, so Jose Garcia, good even fall to you, sir. Welcome to the Homie Ricky podcast. I do bid you well. And he states that to start off with, he says, Haney is right. Ryan's has barely improved since the amateurs. I completely agree. In fact, I believe he's regressed. And he says he is from the big, proud state of Texas, or I think that's what
Yeah,
he's saying because
yeah,
he's either
yeah,
saying things or he is saying TX,
yeah.
uh,
That's Texas.
the great state of Texas.
Nice.
Absolutely.
What part of
Um,
Texas? Just asking. I don't know Texas that well, but
well,
kind of.
hopefully it's not the Panhandle because I hear they have a historic wildfire that's burnt down so many houses, killed a
Oh, I
lot
heard
of
about that.
cattle. Yeah, so it is pretty bad up there in the Panhandle up north of the great state of Texas.
I thought it was
And
Oklahoma.
yeah. So somewhere, I guess maybe to what is that? To the left of them, north in
Yeah.
northeast. Yeah,
Mm,
somewhere around there, just
gotcha.
upwards of I guess Lewis N or something like that. And he continues on and says, "True that it's sad. Ryan has been a love hate boxer for me. Um,
At
Berlanga
this
is
point,
undeserving." Oh,
yeah,
okay.
at this point, it's like hate. I mean, I
Yeah.
used to, because you see his face when he was younger, man, like he just looks like a different dude, man. I know like his facial's gonna change as he gets older, but I mean, it's like he just looked more willing to listen back in the day. He wasn't talking like this like he is right now. Back in
Mhm.
back when he first started getting all those knockouts, like so, yeah.
Oh, I guess Mr. Jose Garcia is not from the great state of Texas. He was saying actually, thanks for the invite to the show.
Oh,
Yeah, of course, Mr. Jose Garcia. This is your home. You're always welcome to comment. In fact, I encourage you to engage with our listeners. Right now, it's a pretty slow night because we did start off quite late. Usually, we like to start around 7:30. We started closer to 9, I believe. But we have a dedicated, very astute and knowledgeable uh, fan base, listener base, I should say, that they've checked us. We have been criticized and trolled by many. In fact, our great friend El Pachuco has dug in deep against me whenever he's found some contradictory or conflicting statements that I've made. He is very knowledgeable and hilarious. We do have Truly Trey, who just a couple of episodes back, he was just digging in, going back and forth. Everything that he was saying was so deserving of a remark that him and homie Ricky were just basically going back and forth on differences of opinions. But here he is once again. In fact, back in his states, Ryan living off of social media fame because these guys are hardcore boxing fans that know we're just trying to grow the sport and give props when they're due and criticism when they are deserving to these fighters that are abusing us and killing the sport. So we are here to be fair and unbiased of everybody. We are, for the most part, Mexican Americans, or I'd like to call myself a Chicano. But I tell you one thing: my blacks, my white brothers, everybody out here, they're gonna get love. They're gonna get love. So
yeah,
thank you very much for coming
yeah,
on.
yeah, man. And then Truly Trey said, and you're right, Ryan don't deserve the opportunity. And Ryan living off of social media fame. Yeah, man, he's fucking living off of that shit right now. Like he came up right at the same time that Instagram came up as a whole company, and
Mhm.
that's what he's pretty much living off of, and it's sad, and I think it's gonna get watered down a lot. Like I think we're starting to see who Ryan is, and this is the thing though, he's only one mindset away, right? He's only one mindset away, and it's not like he's like finishing off his career like like by doing like hard drugs and shit like that. It's like this is shit that can be corrected, but as of right now, this is how you're supposed to represent yourself, and you don't deserve the opportunity because now guess what? It's like, what if you fucking beat Devin? We're gonna be like, bro, give Devin back his belt, bro. You didn't even fucking deserve this shit, and it's gonna leave a bad taste in our mouth, and
Yeah.
it's gonna ultimately it's gonna give a bad example to the kids, like damn, this guy won
Yeah.
off of this whole temper tantrum, like we're gonna be cheering, we're gonna obviously it's gonna be a rematch, and we're gonna be pulling for Devin, but it's not gonna happen, bro.
Wow, I can't believe you just made me imagine that. You
Well,
just made me
I know
imagine
I had to
Ryan
play
Garcia.
I had to play devil's advocate a little
No,
bit,
well,
but
see, that's not that, but that's one thing that I've always accepted about the sport. In fact, it's one of the things that I love about the sport the most, Drew, which is the puncher's chance. We know Ryan Garcia has a puncher's chance, right? Because he obviously has a heck of a punch, right? I mean, he turned around the whole fight between him and Oscar Duarte when Oscar Duarte was beating on him and just outclassing him and just clowning on him for 7 rounds, right? And all of a sudden he lands that one punch just basically out of desperation when he was on the ropes and he just clipped that guy in the forehead. And that was it to stop the fight soon after. It's the puncher's chance. It's
Mm.
the things
The
that
left hook.
shouldn't be. Yeah, it's the things that shouldn't be that make this sport as explosive and as wonderful and as hopeful as it is, right? It's like Homie Ricky states, anybody can make it in the sport. You just have to be able to go in there, have heart, and throw a punch.
Hmm.
It's a lot of work. Obviously, we want to cheer for the guys that work the hardest, keep their noses clean, and do everything to grow as individuals and fighters. And it should never be as easy as you just land a punch, a lucky punch, and that's it. But for the fact of the matter, it is a sport that the only truism
And
is
I'm
the
not
puncher's chance.
and I'm not hearing too much about um what's in the contract. Like it's not going over people's heads, but people are still talking about this fight. It's like Ryan when Devin seen this fight, he said this fight's over. You know why? Because it's in the fucking contract. You're saying you can't pop. And if you want to lie about it and say, hey, I didn't smoke, that was a long time ago, that's BS because it was a live stream. So and you're inhaling that shit. So this is the thing. This is the thing. There's this thing called CBD. You know that it does have a tiny bit of THC to activate it. You need THC to activate CBD, and it could be just CBD. Like 99% CBD type of thing. And he could just, and it can be. I'll give him that. Maybe it's that, but it's like, bro, you said you're high as fuck.
Yeah.
So you said you're high as fuck on the live stream. Like
Wow.
how that right there blew my mind because
Yeah.
it's just gonna is it leave a huge scar on his career, bro. And you can't do that, bro. This is the first time that's ever happened to any boxer at this stage. Of course there's been worse scenarios, and worse endings
Yeah.
um to these stories that you hear from people like that. But I mean, it's still like someone of this power, bro. You shouldn't be talking like that, man. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, I thought it was embarrassing. And one thing that really Trey is bringing up, right? He says, he states, I thought that he'd gain something from training with Derrick James, but no, right? And look,
And there's the thing, Derek James is a calm dude. I would expect him to like pick up some of that calmness from him. Like, hey man, like he's a chill dude, man. Like, don't you want to like match his vibe, bro? Like I don't know. He's supposed to.
did Derrick James? Because I didn't get to see the whole. I was so turned off by it. I was like, oh god, like I was so divided because I want to I want to I want my children to love the sport, and these two young fellas can do that, right? They could if they because they're young men themselves who are successful in their own right and have approached that success and reached it by different ways and means. But these kids are likable. Devin Haney is likable. Ryan Garcia has been likable before, right? Um, and this is just that right kind of opportunity to have these kids intrigued. Both of these guys play Fortnite and so forth and so on. They must they have an opportunity to connect with the new generation of boxers or future boxers or children in general. And I think Devin Haney is right when he says, "Do you think you're a good example?" And I just want to focus on that, right, Drew? Because I've always said that the reason why we should never idolize any of these fighters because it's different to any other sport, right? The sport of boxing, like especially team sports. And team sports, you can be a fan of a team forever because even though the players come and go, they retire, they get injured, they get traded off, the one constant is the fact that the team exists. So as long as the name is there, you'll follow that. But in the sport of boxing, it shouldn't make sense to follow any particular fighter because they'll come and go. You might never see him again. It might just last two fights, one loss, and that's it. Right?
Let
It's
me.
hard. It doesn't make sense to admire these men. So you're not supposed to follow the sport because of the fighter. You're supposed to follow the sport because of the entertainment and the violence. Right? Now,
Do you? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Devin Haney said, "Are you a good example for our followers?" And I'm thinking it's perfect that people see that they shouldn't idolize these fighters as people that they should look up to, because they're doing it wrong. They're acting like clowns. They're becoming divisive. Let's say that my son, a brown man, he looked up to Devin Haney, and he does. Who doesn't, right? And he just saw how divided he is and how pro-black he is, and he might confuse pro-blackness with anti-brown because they're two different things. What if he's like, "Wow, I don't like this guy anymore"? Or what if my son is like, "Oh, Dad, look, Ryan Garcia's hanging out with Jake Paul, hanging out with Jake Paul. Look, he punched him in the liver. He hurt him. He punched him in the kidney. He knocked down Jake Paul." And then here I am introducing my son to Ryan Garcia, Cheech and Chong version. It's it's ridiculous, and I don't think I can sponsor this fight. True,
Yeah,
it's embarrassing.
yeah, it's embarrassing, man, and it's just a change of times. And I feel like I don't know how Devin could have really said anything bad. Neither did Ryan. It's just Ryan. It's just Devin's kind of falling, not falling for it, but kind of responding to his BS, and it's making him look bad, right? It's not like it's like when you try to leave stoop down to like their level, it makes you just as bad as them. So I don't know. It's just um Devin's obviously more disciplined. He's gonna show up when he wants to, but I'm telling you, man, I think Rick might be right. Ryan might just pull out, and he's got to quit smoking within 2 weeks. And of course, it's about the discipline and showing up every day. But I think it's pretty much Ryan's been doing this all his life. He's gonna show up. He's going to show up every day. He has some type of commitment to the game. You know, and he's got to pretty much stop smoking, bro, within 2 weeks. And that's just me being nice. Like, if you do it, like if he's been doing it every day, that's just the big variable right there is how much he's been doing it.
Yeah,
For me, it'll take like uh around like 10 to 12 weeks to get fully clean, like even my urine, type
yeah,
of thing. And
yeah.
for Ryan, I'm gonna just say that was his first hit. That hit that you seen on the live, that was literally like
Nah,
that hit that you seen on the live. That was 24 hours ago.
yeah.
Like he's literally got like close to like 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks to get
Yeah.
clean, and the
Mhm.
fight's in 7 to 8 weeks. So or yeah, I think eight
My
weeks.
4th of May, right? 420 or something like that.
Yeah, so he's only got that much. But I was gonna Yeah, yeah. He's only got that much, so he's got to drink cranberry juice and stop smoking. Honestly, and I hope this was enough, or like embarrassment for him. I hope he's feeling some kind of embarrassment and really says like, I fucked up." Like say some, like at least admit to yourself
Mhm.
that you fucked up, not to everyone else, but like to yourself. Like just be honest with yourself and say that you fucked up, and there's still time for you, technically speaking. You have enough days to get clean, you have enough days to train, and you have enough days to get your mind right. And he needs to get his mind. He's only one mindset away. But I was gonna ask you
Yeah.
one thing
Mm.
that I kind of thought right now. Like, how the zone's been going through a lot of the BS with people like popping with BS and stuff
Heads
like
and
that.
everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, do you think that's why Ryan's kind of, he feels like say my parents don't let me smoke, right? They don't
Yeah,
let me smoke here in this house. So I got to go to my friend's house and smoke. So
yeah.
I go to my friend's house and smoke, and guess what? I'm getting super lit. I'm getting super lit, and I'm like, because I don't have no one checking me. Do you think Ryan feels some kind of like leniency, like to where he feels like he can actually take advantage of it, and he can actually go down to the wire as far as the timing of him getting clean and all this? Like, do you think he's
Oh,
like, you know,
I don't think so.
you think he likes, you think he sees the leniency and he's actually taking advantage of that?
No, no, no. And I'll tell you why. Um, well, for one, Eddie Hearn's fighters for Matchroom. Matchroom is very heavily scrutinized from all of his fighters, especially for drug and performance enhancement products. Right. Um, all of the ranks, all of the promoters, Top Rank, you know, Frank Warren's organization, Golden Boy, all of them, a Matchroom, all of them have fighters that violate, and no one gets more scrutinized and chastised and criticized more than Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, right?
Hmm.
Frank Warren's Queensbury, they had this fighter, Solani Tete, who eventually, after a year of investigation, it was admitted that he was under performance enhancement drugs when he took on a South African fighter and almost killed him, and he became a champion. And they still kept it under wraps, and he was able to hold on to the belt for about a whole year until they eventually decided to strip him. But but you of course obviously never heard of that, but you hear about uh Connor Ben for having popped. You don't hear about Big Baby Miller. He walking around basically being a pharmacy of pet concoctions, walking around and beating up on dudes, getting caught multiple times in MMA and in boxing. They don't make the big of a deal, right? But when somebody from Matchroom does it, oh boy! And in fact, I don't think it has anything to do with the leniency shown to the zone, because here's the other thing: if anybody on Ryan Garcia's side turns out to be doing drugs, especially something like coke, which is one of the things that Devin Haney brought up to him, he said, "Man, you're a cokehead. You're doing coke. That's why your voice changes like that." They would kill Ryan Garcia and his character. Why? Because they would say he's been hanging out with another known cokehead, which is Oscar De La Hoya, and they would say that he's a bad influence, and so many people would be out there
Right.
to try and kill them. So I don't think so. I think uh, he's just really what I wanted to title this episode was "Fat, Lazy Mexican Americans." Why? Because as soon as you give them a little taste, they get fat. David Benavides blew the weight. Ryan hasn't even fought truly at 140. He's always catch weighted these guys. Oscar Duarte was a 135 fighter. He fought at 143. He allowed Duarte to go up to 138. He's a weight bully. He's a fat, comfortable Mexican American. Here's Andy Ruiz, another fat, comfortable Mexican American who has a little taste of success, and all of a sudden they become fat and lazy. Ryan Garcia is living, according to him, his best life. But the best life for him is the worst life for a fighter.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's not the right uh ingredients, for to make a good fighter. Um, I feel like everything else outside of the ring has to be right. And you know, what's up with this dad not checking anything? You know, I
It's
think
because they
Bill.
can't, Drew. They
But you
can't
see Bill,
because
but you see Bill literally checking Devin when Devin said, "Hey, uh you quit. Everyone's seen you quit against Tank." And then you seen Bill like kind of, "All right, Dev, all right, like he's like, they're trying to build this fight a certain way where they give
exactly.
they give props to they give props to their fighters and all this, and that's what Bill's trying to incorporate in his son. And with Henry, where is that? You just It's like, man, if he's being public about shit, be public about how you are with your son. Why are you trying to, like, I'm not saying belittle him or anything like that, but it's like, he's making you look bad because you're not checking him. at least check him behind the scene. And you did see that, like, no, I think, yeah, he did say, put the microphone down and all this, and is and Derrick Henry. I mean, look, Derrick Henry seems like a good dude. He just mm, I wouldn't call him a yes man. He knows his shit, and he's seen Ryan as a good talent and someone that he can change. Um, but he as a trainer is different, right? You especially someone that you've barely started to train. He probably understands where his position is, or where he's at in Ryan's life. He's not probably someone to tell him too much. He was telling him like, "Hey, relax," but that's why I'm saying the dad, man, like do what Bill's doing. Why, like do what Bill's doing and check your son. Check your sons, man. So they're there right next to him, and they're just letting them go off on each other. So, I mean, it's building a good fight, but I'm so curious about what the numbers are gonna look like. I'm curious, bro. Like, I think that's right there. Like, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm like, is this gonna make things go up or down?
Yeah,
And like these videos that are on YouTube. I mean, Bill said last time, like the numbers is not where the currency is. It's really like these media people, like all these media create content creators made money, and all
hmm
this shit. So it's like, so I think that's what he's trying to go for, is all
yeah.
this. But that's what his like that's what he's highlighting a lot, and there's valid validity to it. But I mean, what is it measuring? Is it measuring interest, or is it measuring just an it's the
I
amount
don't
of
know, Drew,
clicks, you know
because see that part right there that you mentioned, right? When Ryan was accused of quitting, what did Mr. Bill Haney do? He tried to curtail that line of conversation, right? Why? Because the one uh, unforgiven, uh, unforgivable sin in the sport, and this comes for every person, right? Cultures, but mostly, I will say this: the Mexican, they to call a person a quitter, right? It's unforgivable, right? Especially if the person quits, because you don't ever want to see a quitter. You can't trust a quitter. This is supposed to be the sport of the courageous, the warrior, the brave. You cannot have quit in you. And when you accuse Ryan Garcia, rightfully so, right? He did quit. Of quitting, you devalue the
exactly.
product.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he knew right then and there. He wasn't trying to play the peacekeeper, say like, yo, 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 don't say that because that's just foul. That's a low
Mhm.
blow. No, he was saying, Devin, quiet. You're affecting the person,
Yeah.
the sell rate, right?
Yeah.
And so with that said, I just want to ask our listeners. I want to ask Truly Trey. I want to ask Mr. Vince Vargas. I want to ask El Pachuco and Jose Garcia. I want to ask them with everything that you guys see about this fight, where both of them are making it racial. About one man trying to belittle another. One black man is trying to belittle another black man for not being black enough. For the brown man calling another man's hair nappy, like that has anything to do with it, right? With the mother of Ryan Garcia going crazy, saying he's a good Christian. We all make mistakes. With everything that you see, when you see the multimillionaire,
See,
successful, wealthy fighter is the guy who's done the least to deserve it, which is Ryan Garcia, and yet you have the most dedicated practicing uh, fighter and Devin Haney, who's getting uh, barely chump change, selling 30 something odd thousand pay-per-view fights. When you see what's going on and you see all the shenanigans and you know that Ryan Garcia is not taking himself seriously and smoking weed and all of those things, with that being said, do you think all of these crazy shenanigans or the side stories, the going ons, Do you think that's helping to sell the fight, or is it affecting the buy rate? And if so, what numbers can you see it? Because here's the thing: Ryan Garcia was trying to tap into the stoner culture, right? But he was saying, "Oh yeah, well, you know what? I don't do coke, but I do drink and I do smoke. Like, guess what? About the majority of these people right here." And he tried to get that clap that Nick Diaz and from Stockton tried to do, where he's proud of being a stoner. He said what, and then everybody starts to clap. He was trying to tap into that stoner fan base,
But no one
right?
was clapping.
And nobody, they tried to, but then guess what? He's talking to fans of the sport of boxing, fans that
Yeah.
may likely participate, and they know that boxing is one of the hardest, if not the hardest sport of all. They knew that you can't be a stoner if you're a boxer.
Mhm. Yeah.
So he was just saying that because he was probably, and was he in New York?
Yeah.
Like,
New York,
yeah,
even
guess what?
worse. It's like it's
Yeah,
illegal there still.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Like people, like, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he forgot that he was not in
They're
Cali.
they're probably like, I wish I can smoke, like because it's still illegal there, man. Like, I mean, I think you can actually get it medically, um, but yeah, nothing past create uh recreational or anything like that. But
It's
yeah, yeah, no,
you give me a number, Drew. Give me a number. Is it gonna sell better, or is it gonna sell worse?
if Ryan makes weight, right, I think
That's still a
I
question, huh?
yeah, because that's the thing, like
The
Ryan,
munchies.
nah, the munchies. Nah, nah. Like this is the thing though. Like this is what has me torn, right? I'm wondering what's going on in his Ryan's mind. Like he's either really pissed or he doesn't give a fuck at all. You know, so at this point, he's reading everything and seeing everyone's videos. I like the emotion
Mhm.
that he's probably gotten right now. It's either gonna push him to another level of himself that he couldn't break through. I was gonna say greatness, but he's needs to get improve himself
Mhm.
first. And like I'm wondering if that's all this bullshit is gonna actually push him more. And his want to prove everyone that hey man, you guys think I'm a fucking joke? Because dude, we're media is hammering on this guy, like the whole media, bro. Like everything's hammering on her. And what's sad is that seeing the mom there, like seeing the mom is defending him now. Now you got the mom involved, like, and the mom
Yeah,
is serious. Like, it's like she's getting emotional. It's like, man, it's supposed to be about you and him. Now you got your family involved, like, just because you can't get your shit straight. Like the goal is to keep your fucking mom proud. Have like why is like don't make her look like that. Like make it
yeah.
easier for her to defend you.
Yeah,
So
so the thing is this, Drew, right? Like, we assume that the Garcias are very much involved in the life of Ryan as they were when he was becoming a national fighter, having traveled the United States and become a national fighter a couple of times over, winning a few of them. We would assume that that's the case because they're always there at his events and whatnot. But let's not forget that Brian Garcia is a man through and through. He's already grown. He's about 25 years of age. He's a multi-millionaire. He already has a home of his own. He can do whatever the heck he wants.
but
And today, and in
yeah.
that video that I just seen, the short, where the mother of Ryan Garcia was being asked questions, and she was saying, "You can't judge Ryan because he's a good Christian, and
But
and he's changing, and we go through our ups and downs." She was tense and she was
yeah,
confrontational. She's
yeah,
not consenting to Ryan. This is all affecting her. It's
hmm,
breaking that family, man. You can't tell
yeah,
me that she's
right,
forgiving. Yeah,
right,
it's hurting her.
yeah, and it's like, dude, like you're not supposed to be doing this to your own fucking family, bro. Like you're supposed to make it easier on them, and honestly, if like he's supposed like this is different now, bro. Like this is what if that's what I was saying. If he makes weight, this is going to sell only because there's real emotion and there's real fucking things going on in these dudes' lives. Mostly Ryan, you know, and he's actually if I'm telling you, man, it's
You
it's
know
going to
what,
sell. I
Drew?
think it. If everything this real emotion, and if he sells, or if he makes weight, it's going to sell.
Yeah,
Um, it won't. I think it'll go less than a mil, like 7 to 900K. Just because Devin, Devin style. You know, Devin is a winner. People
yeah,
don't like the casuals. Don't like that. Don't like his style.
yeah.
I do,
I
but
love his style,
yeah, I do. But that's the thing, Ryan.
especially the man who he's becoming, the
Two
fighter that
things.
he's becoming now.
Yeah, and two things can be possible. Two
Yeah,
things can be true. I mean, Ryan is the one carrying the buys, but Devin is the one holding the pride. You
yeah.
know, in the fight. You know,
You
for
know,
us.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Um, we did a live months back where you know, where it was a hot topic that Ryan Garcia was talking so many bad things about about Oscar De La Hoya, and making it public that he was going to leave after the next fight, that he wasn't going to fight, I guess he said, Jose Ramirez. He wasn't going to fight Barbosa. He wasn't going to fight anybody. They ended up fighting him, finding him, Duarte, a much smaller man, and he thought that his contract with Golden Boy was up. Remember that contract that he thought was up? He renewed it in 2019. And the reason why he's still under contract with him is because, remember that for about a year and a half, he ended up declaring that he was depressed, that he was
Mhm.
breaking up from his girlfriend, and that he was, you know, very depressed and downtrodden and just deflated. And a lot of people thought that he was just cap. They were saying, "Oh, he's just saying that because it wasn't. He doesn't want to take this fight. He doesn't want to take this fighter on at this moment. He's just trying to take it easy, have these guys fight between themselves, and he could just mosey on in and take the easier fight. As everybody's just been going through the ringer." He was accused of faking being depressed in order
Mhm.
to duck the smoke.
Oh,
Let me ask you: do you think the way that Brian Garcia is acting right now has anything to do with a possible depressed individual? A person that, like Jose Garcia brings up, he is now into drugs, now into alcohol, now into gambling. He's actually saying, "I don't do coke," even though his
mhm.
voice is changing, as if his nasal
Nah.
passages are being adversely affected. Uh,
Mm, mm,
this fighter that's always professed being a God fearing individual, which is now saying, "You can
yeah,
judge me because the only guy who can judge me is up there." I do find it to be a cop out. I
yeah.
do find it
I
a contradictory when a person says, "I'm a God fearing man," but they live like they don't suffer the consequences, that they aren't fearful of what will come by not being a good Christian individual. That,
yeah.
what do you think about that?
I think I like how you guys like people are saying like coke and shit, and I'm like no. That I don't see any of it. I don't
Yeah,
see it. Why is it like you're more fidgety? You're more fidgety and you're more angry. And
yeah,
what I see is weed. I see weed. And as a weed smoker myself, and this is just me, I don't go out. I don't go out if I like have smoked a lot. You know, I don't go a lot. Like I take care of my errands and then I smoke. Just because when I'm high in public,
mhm,
like it's just like my senses are off, like I'm just like not as responsive as fast. So I see weed and I think I think he's still high from the day before, bro. Like the first time I smoked, or the first day I smoked after quitting for like, I think I did like 3 months or 4 months. um I was high the next day. And I was like, damn, and I did it literally like 20 hours before that, like. So it, like when you have no THC in your system and you take a big old rip, you're gonna feel it for the next 2 days. And that's what I see. I see a bunch of weed, and I think also see a lot of people, not overreacting, because they see someone that's smoking and they think and we don't know how much is doing it. That's the variable. We don't
yeah,
know yet. So if he did that and he just happened to be on camera when he did that, not doing it for like and he was clean, and he hadn't even hit weed
Yeah.
in months, then he made himself look bad. But also, he's gonna shock a lot of people because it's just a hit, and you're
Yeah.
overreacting off of one hit, and we don't know how much he's smoking. But what I seen was weed, and it's obvious.
And obvious, and you know it's obvious now. That remember, nowadays we have strands that are in the high 30%
Oh
THC.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. If you take a rip from one of those, man, you're baked for you're baked for
and I
the
don't
whole
go
day.
out. I don't
Yeah,
go out. I don't
you
like when
can't.
I yeah no
You're
and
stuck.
and then like I don't get too high when I go to your parents' house. Like it's just I have to like I just don't like to because I know your mom likes to talk, and I'm like I need to be more in my senses. And then I talk boxing too.
Yeah,
I talk I
yeah.
talk
She'll talk and she'll make you think.
yeah. Yeah, no, and then I'll be like, okay, because I speak Spanish, right? But it's broken, and then it's funny how she'll help me out and shit. She'll help me out when I'm trying to talk to her. She's like, she'll give me like suggestions and shit. This is how you say this, and like, but yeah, no, I had to be there. I can't smoke weed and go out, bro. That's just always
You
been me.
know how.
It's embarrassing. I feel kind of embarrassed, and that's what I feel like he felt like he wasn't ready for the
Yeah.
smoke. Literally, he wasn't ready for the smoke and being in public. He was
You
just
know
high in
how we
public.
were.
That's it.
You know how we were we were trolling each other. I said you were saying, "Nah, man. I hope it's weed," and I said, "Well, if anything, Ryan Garcia would be better off if he was doing coke than weed as a boxer." And you're like, "Man, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "I'm telling you, one what is it?
I was
Uh,
gonna give you an example. Um,
what I know that weed is what is it called?
no,
One is a
coke.
stimulant
That's
and the other
coke.
one is depressant, right?
But coke is detrimental, bro, to your fucking brain.
I know
Like,
it's detrimental for your brain, but it gives you energy. And what I'm trying to
yes,
say
but
is, it's more akin to what you would consider a ped
it's
that's
more
used in
detrimental.
this.
It's more
I know it's
detrimental to your
detrimental. I'm
health.
not saying these. I know I'm not saying these things are good for you. I'm just saying that if you wanted to be a more energetic
Why
athlete,
don't you
you would do more cocaine than
look?
you would do weed.
What's healthy is healthy, and what's not is not. Like
Well, none of
that's
them, to
going.
tell you the truth, are good for you as an
One kills
athlete.
you. One kills you, and one doesn't.
Well, I know. I'm not trying to say what you should do. I'm just saying
No, but it
if
correlates. It correlates. Anything that like it's going to affect you, bro. Like somebody who is not built to do coke can die doing it the first time. No one
I
has
know,
ever,
I know.
but no
Look,
one.
man, you're making it seem like I'm promoting. No, no, no. I'm just telling you. When Devin Haney, because see, here's the thing. You gotta understand. People have actually accused Ryan Garcia of doing more drugs than just weed, right?
Yeah, but
I
you're
don't know
also
if you know this.
you're easier to knock out too when
Yeah,
you're on
yeah, yeah.
coke.
But I yeah, you
Why would you want to do that?
tell that to Sugar Ray Leonard, tell that to Manu Cepeda Duran, tell that to Chavez, tell that to Mike Tyson, tell that to all of them. They
Is
were on
that all you
coke in the
got?
eighties,
Is that all you got? I got 50 more. I got 50
bro.
people I can name.
Yeah, yeah, because they were all on coke in the 80s and in the 90s, right? What I'm trying to tell you is this: I'm not trying to promote it. In fact, no, don't do drugs. But what I'm trying to say is this: Ryan Garcia has not only been accused of being a a weed smoker. They've accused him of being a cokehead. They've interviewed him in a show. I think it's called like, I don't know, $1 million of
Hey,
game or something like that, or Cigar Talk. I can't remember. And basically, they were accusing him of basically being on ecstasy. That
hey,
the way that he was acting and moving and being all flirty and sweating, they were saying all of those things. Now, I don't know what kind of intoxicants you must take in order to act that way,
mhm.
but that's not weed. But that's not
Yeah.
weed. I'm telling you from a person that smoked for 30 years of his life. I just quit
Who?
myself.
No, no, no.
I
I'm sorry. Not you. Like what fighter were you referring to right now?
Ryan Garcia.
Got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you if you want to read the comments because they wanted
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
their
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, buddy. So
because they
first
brought
off,
up
I just
something.
have to, yeah, I just want to acknowledge that I was having a very interesting conversation with El Pachuco about all things Chicano history and the responsibility of the Mexican American, or the Chicano and social movements, and how that movement is really, in my opinion, it's about this generation, if my generation. And once we're dead, that's the end of the Chicano. The word Chicano might not exist in the parlance of modern society soon enough. But we were just talking about those social changes of what it meant when people of with Mexican blood but born in the United States still had to prove themselves and be accepted in this great nation of ours. And we used to be socially involved. Now I don't know. We're known for people with Edgar haircuts and driving big trucks, and that's it. But I just wanted to acknowledge that I had a very entertaining um, exchange with El Pachuco, and I would be remiss if I did not bring it up. I know that this is a boxing channel, but we do talk about a lot of different things. But let's just going back. Jose Garcia does, does agree with Truly Trey. Or both of them agree with each other that controversy sells, unfortunately. So this fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney will probably sell well just because of the controversy alone. Although Truly Trey does say it is hard to be a role model, it's just easier to be the anti-hero. I reckon so. But this is the question that Truly Trey asked, and I really haven't been able to answer it. He asked Joseph Parker versus Big Bang Singh, who y'all got?
Oof,
And
you
Jose
know who?
Garcia
Go ahead.
said Parker. And Truly Trey said Zang with an exclamation point. Who do
Oh,
you have, Drew?
I got the I got the Big Bang Zang. Chinese, Chinese. Ding 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 ding.
You know that it's actually pronounced Zhang, right?
Zhang.
Yeah, we're so American that we say Zhang. The way it's spelled, it's not. It's Zhang. It really is Zhang. So Big Bang Zhang, and thing is Zule Zhang. So I guess two for Zhang. I look,
It's Big Bang, bro. Like honestly, he can do this up until he's 50 with his style.
yeah,
Yeah.
but guess what?
What?
Parker, he looked very good
He did.
with that pressure against Deontay Wilder, right?
But it's a certain style, right? Like I feel like his notable wins is Andy Ruiz, right? And I
Yeah,
think some dudes like him, like he's a shorter man, and I think you fight a big man like a Big Bang, like Big Bang Zhang, like he's Parker's a smaller heavyweight, and Zhang kind of matches people's size, bro, and power, and I think he knocks him out, bro. I think Parker gets knocked out.
knocked. Well, I was just gonna say I don't see Parker knocking out Zhang, but I do see a very tough fight for Zhang, right? I
Mm.
do see if he sticks in close and he just becomes pesky with that pressure that he might just be able to hurt him. I do think Parker has enough power to straighten out Zhang, but something about Zhang, right? He's a huge individual. It would take somebody like Anthony Joshua, some person that carries his weight with power well, or Tyson Fury, to be able to knock out that guy. That really do see that guy as being that durable and tough and just generally massive. But I think Parker does have a fighting chance, and I think he might just be able to stay away from that that left hand of well, man, I think it's he has good power in both hands, right?
Yeah,
Shang does. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Wow,
Zhang, yeah, he's
Shang.
got some great power and he knows how to set it up, which is hard to do. Like these heavyweights, they just kind of um go use their sheer force sometimes if they
Hmm.
have to when the game plan isn't working. Um, but Zhang's polished, bro. He's got what it takes. He's one of my favorite fighters, heavyweights right
Yeah.
now. Like I will bet every single fight he's an underdog in, because he's flying over people's heads a lot. Like This dude's an Olympian, you know. And I think he beats if he beats if he beats Fury, then I think he beats I think he beats AJ, and it's gonna take a special style to beat him. And I can see a Usyk beating him, you know, but I can also see Usyk just not being able to take the power like he wasn't able to take the power against was it Daniel Del Bois that he
Yeah,
fought?
Daniel
Yeah,
Dubois.
he was just a
Take,
hard hitter, you know. He just didn't know IQ, and he didn't have as much heart as Usyk. But yeah, I
yeah,
think Usyk can beat somebody like a and this is the thing. Usyk beats Big Bang Zhang, but yet I think Parker has a better chance at beating someone like Usyk because of his size and leverage, you
yeah,
know. So
yeah.
it's a styles fight, you know. It's
It'll be a very good. Wow,
like
that fight's
yeah,
taking place, right?
which fight?
That one,
Which fight did I say?
Parker. No, Parker versus Zhang. That is taking place, right? I mean, that's being rumored. At last I read about it was a couple of weeks ago. Is that going to take place?
Let me check right now. I follow Big Bang Zang on Instagram. Um, I'm pretty sure
Wow.
he posted
Wow.
a
Yup. On March the 8th
oh yeah
on
yeah and
Saudi
right
Arabia.
yeah yeah yeah.
Whoa.
And then
Whoa.
okay yeah, that's in the AJ fight, Ngannou fight.
Wow. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is
Gotcha.
why I love Turkey Ali Sheik.
So next
Man, you know
weekend,
what? Yeah,
next
yeah.
weekend.
Oh, oh my
So we can't hold
God.
on. We have to save this subject for next week then.
Yeah, well, no, it's all good. It's all good.
All right.
You know, our if anything, our listeners can direct the conversation to wherever they want. We're interested in the sport and in their questions as much as we are in the own things that we want to bring up to them. So yeah, I think that's great, and it's good that they reminded us because I told you if you guys have not watched the trailer for the fight between Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua, man, that's a great promo. Remember the one between Anthony Joshua and well, I think it was everybody, right? Day of Reckoning. Did you ever see that promo?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What did you
What do you
think?
think? Um,
It was zombie
what you're talking about
apocalyptic.
the AJ Zhang?
No, the
Oh,
what was it called? No,
Fury
it
and
was
Ganu, Fury and Ganu.
no, it was Anthony Joshua versus the guy that Wilder knocked out. Um, the big Viking guy.
Oh, Hellenius.
Hellenius. It was the Day of Reckoning. Joe Parker fought Wilder. Bivol fought. What was his name? I
MacArthur.
can't. Uh-huh. Yeah. There you go. In that promo, it was an apocalyptic zombie based theme,
That's
right?
what I was saying right now in Fury
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Ganu.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. But this one is Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, and it's like a Street Fighter based one. Man, it's incredible. It's like a video
Mm,
game, and the
I
first
still
thing that
got
you have to watch it, and at
yeah.
the end, all you're thinking to yourself is, man, I gotta make that into a video game because I gotta buy that right now. I'm a comic book collector, but I also collect video games. I don't never play them, but I collect them, and I'll tell you, if they make that into a video game, I'm buying that. So yeah. Um, and you know what? Let's just read a couple of these last comments because I know it's a little later in the
Yeah, I'm
evening.
gonna crash.
Uh,
I'm gonna crash out soon. Right
yeah.
now, actually.
Uh, Truly Trey says the 80s were a hell of a time. LOL. And you know what, Truly Trey, I agree with you. In fact, today I was listening to a band called The Outfield, which I know right now is getting a lot of promotion in places like TikTok and Instagram because they have that meme going on where they played one of their song that says like Josie had a thing in a vacation last night or something like that, right? And it's I don't know, something Josie's on a long vacation or something like that. And anyways, it's a good song, but I hate songs that have names of people that I don't know, right? But it's a very good song. So I was like, you know what? Let me catch up to the Outfield. So I went through some of the records, their 1985, 1986 album. Man, Drew, if you haven't heard the Outfield, the very first album, especially, wow, It's epic. It's incredibly fun. It's like rock, but it's not heavy, bothersome rock. It's just like party rock. And it's you can understand the lyrics and everything is lively. It's almost like a little funkish, but rockish. And it's like a good vibe. So you can play that at a barbecue, at a party. You can go to a beach. You can cruise in the middle of the night with your 1967 Wildcat Custom. You can do all kinds of stuff with that stuff, right? And I was just like, wow, this album is so good. So yeah, I agree with you, Trudy Trey. The 1980s were a hell of a time. And I guess he's saying that Ryan Garcia pops nothing by perks and Nexos. Nothing too serious. I don't know what a XO is. I know Percocet is some kind of narcotic or something to that effect. But and to end it, of course, Jose Garcia says Sean gotta find a Parker. Uh, and Joe Joyce just stood in front of Zing's power. Zing, Parker's size will be an asset in this movement. Drew, it was a fun live, man. I hope that the next lives that we focus on don't have anything to do with race because I'm getting tired of it. I never wanted this show to be about race. We wanted to address the important things about the sport, but not in a way that we make it divisive where it's black versus brown. Not that. Mostly to recognize that the sport is great when everybody participates in it. And the true boxing fan will love the sport and its fighters irrespective of what they look like or what their skin color is. Why? Because they know how to fight. If they have the heart of a warrior and they don't quit, and if they quit because they've been utterly destroyed, it's okay. We'll be there for you. So let's hope that the next few days will provide us something to talk about that is more agreeable and not as divisive. But I do like to just wish everybody a wonderful night at Pachuco to wrap it up. The last message states is warp speed. I get it, man. We're hard on our people precisely because we have love for our people. Yeah, yeah. You get it, Pachuco. I am particularly hard on my own people because I do expect this to be great. I do expect this to live up to our obligations as a race, as a people with a great history and good, beautiful practices that have been embraced by the world at large. That is what I want to provide to the world. But I also admire the the efforts of others to provide for their own people and extend that greatness so that we can see it and be equally inspired. It's almost as if we can fight to make our cultures greater, to see who's the best, so that we can continue to progress as humans in general. But if Pachuco gets it, Jose Garcia, welcome aboard. Trudy Trey, always a pleasure, sir. Mr. Vince Vargas, and anybody else that's been just hanging there by the wall, just listening in, but shy to comment because they think we're too smart, or hey, maybe inversely, too stupid. Well, it's okay. You can troll us. We love trolls. All right, everybody. I love you all. Thank you for hopping in into this live. Warp Speed, Drew, the homie Ricky. We out.